Audrey, how was it that Shaare Zedek started their place for people with COVID, with Corona?
So, at the beginning, we didn't really, we were like everybody else, we reacted to the situation.
Exactly.
So what we did was to close certain departments that had access to outside of the hospital, like a direct access, a door, or somewhere that people could come into a ward without going through the hospital.
Exactly.
So that was the idea. But then, the volume of people that needed to be hospitalized was growing and growing, and we had to find a solution. So at some point during the second wave, the staff wasn't allowed to mix. We weren't allowed to sit together and eat together.
Yes.
So we closed the staff dining room. The staff dining room is massive. It's a place where 500 people could eat.
It has to be enormous, yes.
Enormous. And also it had access to outdoors. It had doors that opened to outside of the building.
All right.
So we thought that this would be a good place to turn into an emergency corona ward.
Right.
So in Israel, we also don't call it corona ward, we call it keter. Right. So corona is a Coron, which is a keter.
It's also a drink, very good.
Yeah, corona in Mexico is a drink, all over, but we don't, we
all right.
It wasn't for celebration purposes.
I know.
So we
call it keter.
We call it keter. So we had 4 keter department, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet.
Yes.
But that one was the largest. It was really the largest keter department. We will go there later, and Gadi will explain to you all the logistic and turning into it. But basically, we took what was a dining room, and
became it a hospital in a dining room.
Made it into an ICU unit with, a whole ward divided with ICU beds, with beds for pregnant women, because we also had women who were pregnant who had corona.
Yes.
So we couldn't put them into the maternity department, and we couldn't put them anywhere.
Wow.
They had to be in a corona place. So we also had a special department for them.
That's incredible.
Because they also needed different facilities. They needed monitoring for the baby.
Yes.
And so that place became the central corona ward. Yes. And we still kept 1 or 2 other wards that were a bit smaller for different cases of more ICU units, etc. Yes. But that one was the major one, and that's where we're going to go today.
That place in some time you closed that space.
Yes.
And became and what happened when somebody said we're already almost everybody vaccinated? Israel look at like it's over. You closed that part?
Yeah. So for the moment we haven't had patients there for a few months.
All right.
But because the numbers are going up, we will probably reopen that as a corona ward by probably the end of the month. Like in another 1 or 2 weeks, we will open it again.
And in some place, that place became again the place to eat, the dining room,
No. You will see the beds are ready. They've also now in the last few days, where the big fires in Jerusalem.
Yes.
What we did was that we prepared that whole area in case the fire would reach Hadassah Hospital in Garem, and they would have to evacuate patients. We prepared that, so if they needed to evacuate, we would bring them
That's thinking in the future. It's like thinking, I know, in the future maybe 2 days, but it's the thinking to be prepared.
Yes,
not to be caught again like it was with the first wave, no?
So we were already preparing the ward for the next few months of corona, of patients numbers going up. So last week and the week before, they were cleaning the area, they were painting, they were doing few arrangements, things that were broken, they were making sure we had enough beds, that everything was functioning, putting materials back into the right places. But then the fire happened. And then we thought, okay, put corona aside for 2 minutes. If Hadassah needs to evacuate patients, we can take 50 people, maybe 100, and take them into our department. They will be just the Hadassah patient. We're not mixing them in the hospital.
Right.
It will be
a good solution.
It's a very good
Good is that
solution.
the fire stopped it. Oh no, it's not. They didn't stop it.
Thank God they managed to stop it and everything, of
Yes.
course. But we had to be able to respond. We had to be able to offer some help.
All right.
And that's why if we go
Many
now-
will thought that Adasa and you are like competition, but you are helping each other in these cases. It's
Look,
like
you
I know.
Hadassah and Shaare Zedek were like two siblings, two hermanos.
Yes.
we fight
Yes.
because brothers fight,
Yes.
but only to make each other better. It's like competition. Okay, now we have this new machine, and then they go, oh, we need that machine as well. So there you go. And you only get better with healthy competition. Also, Jerusalem has nearly a million, close to 1 million people living in Jerusalem and around Jerusalem.
Yes.
We have 2 major hospitals.
Yes, they have
It's
it.
2,000 beds. We have 1,000, they have 1,000. That's it.
Yes.
And then small hospitals, but we are the 2 main providers for medical care.
It's important to mention that it's a medical care for everybody in Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter religion,
No.
sex,
Nothing.
age, anything.
Nothing.
I know.
Everybody comes, is entitled to medical care.
Just they have to carry on what is the correct procedures because
Absolutely. Yeah, procedures is complicated.
it's complicated. But
Tofes Schweißre. You need Tofes Schweißre for
Exactly.
everything here.
Exactly.
But in general, it's not like going into the US or anywhere else where first they ask you to see the credit card.
Yes, here.
And then they look after you. No, here they look after you and then you sort out the paperwork.
How are you looking at it's going to be the 3rd wave or 4th wave here of Corona? Are you? I know you are not scared, but you are prepared because you are prepared. But how does it look? Because it has been like crazy. It became the first country to be vaccinated, the first country being ahead of everything. How is it going to? Because now they are like everybody's again getting in. We have to be prepared. How do you look at here at the hospital?
Look, first of all, we started vaccinating the 3rd vaccine for the staff.
Yes.
So over this week, we were invited, all members of staff that were over 50 years old.
Yes.
And staff from...
You don't look over 50 or
No,
right,
I'm not over 50, but I was very lucky. I'll tell you in a minute. So the rule was like that. Everybody who was over 50 years old or people who were over 30 years old but were working with patients were invited to receive their 3rd vaccine in the hospital.
All right.
Now, I heard there were extra vaccines, so I went and I asked, I said, I'm not over 50 and I don't work with patients. If there are extra vaccines, would it be okay for me to get one? Not taking it from anybody else. So they said, wait a bit, we'll see. And then they said, okay, we have enough, come have your vaccine. So I feel very, very privileged and lucky to have received it because otherwise I would have to wait another probably 2-3 weeks because soon...
All right, 2-3 weeks. It's like in Mexico, 2-3. I don't want to say how many years. No.
No, it's here. Look, they're already giving it. The Kupat Cholim, the state is already giving it to people over 50, and they're talking about people over 45 within the next few weeks.
All right.
So I would have gotten it in the next month maximum.
Yes.
But it was very easy. I was here in the hospital. I went up, got a shot. Everything was beautifully organized. 10 minutes after I received a message on my phone that I had been vaccinated, and it's already been sent to the Ministry of Health that I'm part of the people vaccinated, and to my Kupat Cholim, to my HMO.
Everybody.
Unbelievable. The system was amazing. So this is the first thing that we as a hospital we did. We provide vaccines for whoever wants them in an easy environment. You don't have to go anywhere. You come to work and you get it. Also, we this Corona ward is going to reopen towards the end of the month because the numbers are going up. We're getting messages every day. Be careful, respect social distancing, wear your masks, don't eat together, or if you do, eat outside. All the
precautions.
Yeah, I mean.
But you are sure you will be needing this new area for what it looks like.
from what it looks like at the moment, yes, probably.
What's the difference between it started and now for you? Because when it started, it took us, everybody like in surprise, and everybody scared about doing it. Now it's like another, let's say, another healthy problem, just a healthy problem, just another thing we are prepared and ready, or does it have something different?
Look, I think, again, it's my opinion.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
yes,
an
sure,
expert
sure.
in.
I know, no.
I think that at the beginning everybody was overwhelmed. We didn't know what we were dealing with. Everything was scary. We didn't understand it. We didn't know what to do. You know, it was very, very scary.
Yes.
Now there is a little bit more knowledge about how to behave.
Yes.
And the problem is that people don't respect the
All
rules.
right.
So if you don't, you know, I go down the street or if I go to the supermarket, I go crazy because people wear the mask under the nose. It's like, oh, can you not put it on your nose? Like, really, is it too hard for you?
Yes.
You know, if you see people who are not putting their mask properly, either tell them to put it on or take a step back and don't stand next to them.
Right.
I say to my children, you go in the bus, if somebody's not wearing a mask, don't stand next to them. Go to the other side.
Exactly. And in the hospital, how do you look at it? Because I remember the first scenes where people wearing everything, they were like crazy, like astronauts and clothes, and everybody don't go near the hospital because, and I know the hospital has to be working. Now it's different.
So it's different because we're less hysterical. You know, there's no hysteria about it. We also, you know, first of all, we always say to people, always, not just Corona time, always, if you don't need to go to hospital, don't go.
All right.
A hospital is a place where there are people with illnesses who come. If you have people who come for cancer treatment, they are weaker people. They don't need somebody with a cold coming in and sneezing in the lift and this person getting it. So we're trying to say to people, if you don't need to be here, don't come. Also, when you come to the hospital, you don't have to come to the hospital with 5 people accompanying you. Just have one person accompany you. Don't come with all your family, or come in different times, or, you know, try to have smaller groups. In Israel, it's very much like Mexico. Mexico, big families. People like big families.
And you are one of the biggest hospitals being in when you are talking about new childs born and everything. It can you speak. You have more than 2,000 births every year, so it has to be parties every day.
So we say to people, please don't come with your mother and your grandmother and your grandfather and your cousin and your neighbor. It's like, bring one person, and that's the person that's coming with you. You know, try to be a bit more careful about who's coming in and out. Also, wash your hands. Alcohol gel, there's alcohol gel everywhere. You can, everywhere you go, you use your pumps, you wash your hands properly, you know, you wear your mask, you be careful, it's it. And then go and get vaccinated. You know, there's no, at this point, there's no rocket science. The problem is that you have people, because it's been such a long and hard time, people don't have the patience anymore. So they want to go to parties and they want to travel and that is probably why the Delta has arrived here so fast and so strong, because Israelis love to travel.
Yes. All right. What's coming next for Shaare Zedek? Because you have many, all right, you are preparing the Corona, but this is something
in between.
In between.
Yes.
I hope someday we will forget about it and it's going to be like a cold, but in the meanwhile, there are many things. I know you are opening new things. I know what's next in Shaare Zedek Medical Center.
So the massive project we're working on is outside, is a new, what will be the cancer center.
Exactly.
And I don't know, you've come through the parking, so you've already seen that is a new thing. And 800 spaces is not a small thing. No,
I remember, I told you, the last time I came, it was like, you needed an appointment for the parking lot. You needed to have.
Yes.
I needed, so it was like that.
In Egadi, yeah.
Yes.
So.
Okay. You're in the meeting.
No, come join us.
Come join us. We will talk with you later. All right.
So.
Gary is the head of operation in the hospital. He's joining us. And to finish with what we were talking, Audrey,
Yes. Okay. So then the largest thing we're working about is the new building. So what will be the cancer, comprehensive cancer care building, and it's very, very well on its way. We hope to be finished within the next few months.
Wow.
And to open, it has a direct connection to the new parking. So that means that people, especially during Corona time, people with compromised immunity, people who are coming for cancer treatment, will be able to park directly on the same level to where their treatment will be, very close to the special doors leading to the department, and they don't have to walk around the hospital, they don't have to get out of the parking lot.
Wow.
The distance between their car and the unit where they need to go is very small.
It's just for in and out people?
Yes.
It's for the in and out people to come
outpatient.
to your treatment and go out?
Yes. We don't want them to stay in the hospital. We don't want them to get any germs of anything at all. We want them to come in, do their treatment, and go safely and quickly as possible. So that is a massive, massive project. Apart from that, there are loads of other things happening as well, but we can talk about this later.
All right. Thank you very much, Audrey. And thank you for these already improvements and everything to know what is happening. Just to have now, we will talk with Gary and other people just to see what's next here at Shaare Zedek, and especially with Corona, with Keter, no?
Yes, Keter.
Keter, yeah.